nine, all green, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Rocket Pants episode 12. I will be your host, Alex, and tonight is our mode B, once again with a special guest. Tonight we have Pam, aka Jazila, and she's also a dog mom, a retro and modern gaming connoisseur, and allegedly she cannot be tamed.
Contrary to popular belief, I enjoy dogs. I don't hate them.
I have cats too.
So, Pam, what have you been playing lately as far as video games go?
As far as video games, I was playing the X-Files game recently. That was my last video. I figured with the show starting up again at the end of the month, I should replay the game on PlayStation 1. So I played through that. Has anyone else played that one?
No.
Actually.
No.
So I like X-Files though. Is it, so what kind of, what are we talking? Is it like a RPG or what?
A adventure. It's uses full motion video. It's got David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson in it. Plus, it's got like Skinner and X and Cancer Man. So it's pretty cool. You play another FBI agent who is looking for Mulder and Scully who have gone missing.
Sweet. But they're actually in the game? Like the actors are in the game?
Yeah, they're actually in the game.
That's a pretty big get, because, I mean, if it was on the PS1, then it probably came out around the same time as all the, at the height of the X-Files, being on TV.
Yeah, it came out cool. On PS1. It came out on PC first in, I think, 1998, so it was right before they were going to start filming Fight the Future, which is when the game was made.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I just finished, 30 minutes ago, Oxenfree. It's an indie game. It just came out, I think it just came out this week. And it's sort of a combination between a teen movie and a thriller with Lost in there. You play a group of teenagers who go to an island for a party and weird things start happening. They find this radio that tunes into frequencies with sounds they don't know where they're coming from, and they get stuck in time loops, and it's pretty cool. It was a nice little short 4 or 5 hour game.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's on Steam?
Yeah, that's on Steam.
Okay. I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, that was... I just heard about it, and I wait a little bit, but this one seemed interesting enough that I wanted to pick it up right away. And other than that, I've been replaying Final Fantasy X, the PS4 remaster.
Nice. How does it look compared to the original on the PS2? Is it as good as you remember? Does it look better than you remember?
It looks better than I remember. I'm having a little bit of a hard time remembering exactly what it looked like on the PS2. I remember all the cutscenes and things looked really beautiful. There's some things you can notice, like the faces of all the main characters look fantastic, and the faces of all the not main characters kind of look blurry.
Where they spent their resources.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it looks really great, and it's still as fun as I remember it, so...
Is it just a pure remaster, or did they add anything to it? Did they do anything with the touchpad or anything like that on the PS4?
No, nothing with the touchpad, I don't think. The only change is that they gave the regular, or the, I guess, North American version and the international version, so you can choose which one you want to play, and the soundtracks are a little bit different, I think.
Okay. So the laughing scene's probably better? I guess that's the only place you notice.
Yeah.
The strange thing for me about Final Fantasy X was it was the first Final Fantasy game with, to be fully voice cast, but they never said the main character's name because they let you name the protagonist.
Yeah.
So anytime they named the protagonist, it was just in text.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also fully voice cast, and I just thought that was a strange contrast that they didn't want to say his name or couldn't figure out how to make, a computer say his name.
Yeah, but
that you chose.
It doesn't really sound very good when the computer says your name. Like, the only places I've had an example of that is some hockey games. You could fill in your the pronunciation of your name, and like they name all the players, but they name like my last name has been used in some other form in a couple of hockey players. So they just like use the last name for your character, but every other character is a different tone, a different.
But like Mario RPG solved the problem by just letting you name the file, I guess, and then they just call the protagonist Mario. So why couldn't they just? I don't know. I'm thinking too much about it, but it just kind of bugged me that they never said his name, and they cleverly found out how to work around that in cutscenes.
Yeah, there wasn't even anything else you could call him. Like in Dragon Age, it was just the warden, so that it didn't have to pronounce a name.
Yeah,
but, yeah, we didn't have an.
I actually like that about it's interesting when I talk to people about remasters, especially like the Final Fantasy and the Kingdom Hearts that I've been playing, which I'm going to talk about in just a second probably, that to me it's not like the games look any better on the current gen, it's that they don't look any worse. It's not like you're playing just an old PS2 game. It looks as good as you remember it did when you first played it. For the very first time on the PS2, at that time it looked amazing, and if you go back and actually play the PS2 copy now, it's gonna be dated, so.
Well, part of that's because you can't really play it on an HD TV.
Right, that's true.
Or you can play it on component. Yeah, it's 4DP. I don't know there's a difference, really, to be honest. Like, I know there's a difference, but I don't notice it, but it's usually because I played most of the games that were remastered right now, so.
Right. Well, it just comes, for me, what I notice, it's not necessarily it's just the size of my TV. If I try to play something below like 720p, then it's just, I either have to play it in a really small window on the screen, or it stretches and it just doesn't look any good.
So, how about you, Chris? What remaster have you been playing?
Kingdom Hearts 2.5, 653, XD, I don't know, whatever one they're on.
It's 365.
Is that on PlayStation?
Yeah, no, it's on. It's Kingdom Hearts 2.5 on PS3 is what I've been playing for a lot of it, at least. So I had played through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and all of the random Kingdom Hearts games that are available in years ago, and I decided to go through 2 again. And 2 is good, but I think that it loses some of the momentum that 1 had. I liked 1, it's like a really good game, the story's really good and everything, but 2, it just seems like they throw a lot of story at you in the first few hours. The first, 5-6 hours of the game are really, really good when you actually play as the other character, Roxas. I love that part, the story's great, but then when you finally switch gears and you go back to Sora, and they throw you in the little gummy ship and you can just go to whatever world you want, it's like the narrative is kind of lost and you have to go and grind out all these planets that don't really matter. So, I don't know. It's okay. I'm gonna finish it up because I just like the game and it does get better and I remember that it does, but so that's good. But what I wanted to really talk about was Pac-Man.
You can't see my eyes roll.
So, I have a story to tell about Pac-Man, and it's weird because I've become so addicted to Pac-Man, and I've broken my record. Last time we spoke, I think I was over 1,000, the global rankings, and I just got a new high score right before we started this, and I'm down to 630, I think, 630, globally, and I say globally, but really it's 400,000 players or something, I don't know, but still, 630, I think that's pretty good. But, you can actually view a replay of every single player's high score on the leaderboard. And so, of course, the first thing I do is I go to the person with the the top high score, and I try to view their replay. And for the first 100 or so, the replays don't actually show you the replay. It'll show you somebody intentionally throwing the game. So I don't know what's going on, because if you look at the person that's got 2 million points, all they do is they sit there and they just get attacked by ghosts. So how are they? So either the replays are broken, these people have found a way to kind of hide what they do, to get these high scores, or they are cheating. And I hope they're not cheating, because I'd really like to be able to get to that, level of play without having to resort to, hacks or whatever, so. But yeah, I've been paying way too much attention to leaderboards for Pac-Man, and I've been getting way too involved. Like, I went and looked at the number one player, I looked at his Steam name, and I was gonna send him a message and ask him for tips, and it's just getting it's getting weird. It's getting really weird.
It seems like a lot of the top scores in those kind of arcade games are like impossible to reach high scores. That makes me wonder if they're cheating or not.
I don't know. I think the top score is like 2.1 million, and I for the longest time was at 1.6 million, and I didn't think I could get any higher. But then today I got like 1.9. So I mean, I think that there's still room for me to get better too, but I don't know if I can get 2.1 requires you to be like a weird robot or something. Or cheat, so. But yeah, Pac-Man World Championship Edition DX on Steam.
Get it on mobile, is it the Humble Bundle Mobile one?
Don't get that one.
No?
That's Pac-Man World Championship Edition, but it's not the DX, and I played the mobile version. Is it? Well, okay, maybe it's changed, but last time I played what seemed to be the same Pac-Man game on mobile, it was terrible. It wasn't the same. So this one I play on Steam is much faster paced and crazy and arcade and Japanese.
If you play the, it's Championship Edition DX. If you pay the higher tier on mobile, you'll get that one.
Okay, I might have to check that out then, because if I could play this on mobile, then I probably would lose my job.
Yeah.
That's all I'll do.
Don't check it out then.
Yeah, maybe I'll avoid that, so. What about you, John? What have you been playing, sir?
I don't play too much, because I had to edit the last episode, and I've developed an addiction for Mass Effect. Like 2 or 3 days in a row, I went to bed at like 3 a.m. in the morning, because I just couldn't leave my screen. And I'm not even doing the main mission. I'm still in the side mission. I guess the relationship part kind of started inside the ship, and just the dialogue grabbed me in. So I haven't played that much after that, because I need to wake up in the morning sometimes.
So do you do the relationships with every character, or do you do the relationship with just one character?
I have no idea. Right now I have 2 things with the 2 characters that should be available starting. I don't know.
Because when I played Mass Effect 2, I had the ability to go after multiple love interests. Like, I definitely saw that I had those trees of text that I could choose. But for some reason, I guess, like, the monogamist in me, I had one relationship with one character, and I couldn't bring myself to go and have a relationship with another character.
Yeah, that's usually how I work, because I know the other game with relationships I played is Personal Tree. And you have to have a relationship with every possible character, which is kind of terrible thing to do, and I felt so guilty when I actually tried that. So I don't think I'm gonna do that now.
If my girlfriend knew what I was doing in this game, she would not approve.
I think in Mass Effect, with one exception, it always sort of forces you down to just one person. Like, if you've got 2 on the line, they will like confront you about it. So yeah, for the most part, you can only romance one person. Though I was happy. I listened to last episode. I was happy to learn that you have been enjoying Mass Effect. Yeah. I always like when people play it.
No, it's great, and really even more with the dialogues that come in. I think the thing I right now absolutely love is that, like, the main character really isn't a portrayal of myself. It's really just a character that's incredibly well developed. That's I don't know, it just feels so natural. That character just feels natural, and I think it's even better that it's that I can't portray myself since it's a woman and get totally a different, point of view. So I'm kind of
cool.
I really wanted to write something about it soon, because it's becoming really one of my favorite characters in video games.
So that's high praise. Femshep, top character in a game.
It's not Femshep, it's Manshep, Chris.
I thought you were doing Femshep. I'm sorry.
No, I'm doing Shepherd. I'm not doing the undersource of Manshep. Because I
Okay,
think the
so-
game was developed around
Yeah,
FemShep.
it's not
Right.
FemShep. It's just Shepherd.
It's just Shepherd.
Just Shepherd.
It's
sorry.
Shepherd and Man Shepherd.
Okay, there you go. That works. That works.
So anyway, since I didn't want to stay up all night playing a good game, I started replaying for the second time Final Fantasy Tactics Advance
Ooh.
on a GBA. And
Nice.
I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth when I play this game, or when I think about it, and I think I'm
Me
giving
too.
it a bad rep for valid reasons that shouldn't be too important. But
No. Why is it bad? Isn't it just okay? So is it drastically different than regular Tactics on the PlayStation?
it's drastically different.
Oh, okay.
And the plot starts with kids talking about their favorite world of video games, and then they get drawn in. And that's like probably the worst plot twist you can do to muster any kind of interest in me.
For a Final Fantasy game, they talk about playing video games and getting sucked into one.
Yep, and they're sucked in the Final Fantasy world, which introduces like it's always been in the previous video games, Muggles and things, but they introduce like 2 new races that you've never heard about before. And like everybody pretends that this is the Final Fantasy world that we all know, which isn't the case. Like it's completely off-putting. You can't create your characters, you can't name your characters. Every freaking character looks the same again. So you just recruit random people with random names that just roll. And that's pretty much like the big parts that are kind of off-putting. The UI really isn't that good. But to be fair, it's better on the DS, the second Advance. But apart from the story, it's still a functional game. Like, it's still okay, I guess.
Was that the first Final Fantasy game on the Game Boy Advance?
Original, yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
I'm wondering
there's Dawn of
if that's-
Souls.
There's a couple of
5,
remakes
there's-
on there.
Yeah, there's a couple of remakes, but as far as originals go, yeah, it's the only one.
Okay. Because I'm thinking maybe they tried to shake it up a little bit just because it was a new platform they hadn't done anything with before. Maybe the Game Boy was kind of targeted at younger audiences, so
Yeah,
that's what
I
they
know,
were
but
going
like
for.
younger audiences, I get that, but isn't there a worse genre to reach out to younger audiences than strategy RPGs?
Yeah, Tactics, that would be kind of
That's
tough for
kind
young
of the worst
audiences.
genre you can try, and I mean it's kind of hard even for me, and I grind like crazy, so I really don't see how it's good for kids. I really don't. But I've had a couple of people on Twitter protesting that there's a theme of bullying around the main story that could kind of reach out to people probably a younger age than me, because I was pretty much late high school when I started playing. So it's okay, I guess. It works fine. I mean, I've played like 30 hours right now. I'm 30 hours into the game, so I can't really complain that it's not good. The gameplay is good. It's just not. I could right now switch to the PSP version of the original, and I know I'd have more fun. But right now, the Game Boy Advance is closer to me, and I really want to go through to see if if the story picks up, if anything picks up.
So how many double A's is that? So 30 hours on a Game Boy Advance. How many double A's?
I play on the DS Lite,
Oh, so that's so it's rechargeable.
so it's rechargeable. And when I say 30 hours and 40 hours, I fall asleep on it a lot. And I wake up like at 6 in the morning, saving inside a battle, and starting back again the next night.
And it's wedged under your pillow, about to catch fire.
Yeah, and there's a couple of marks on my forehead, probably. So, really just falls down.
Oh, that's from the cats, right?
No, that's not from the cats. Try to play a Game Boy game with the cats on your shoulder while you're sleeping. It's pretty hard. How about you, Alex? You have games to talk about. Go ahead.
I do. So I had a friend over this weekend, and I made a point to ask him to bring his PlayStation 3 controller, because I only have one PlayStation 3 controller, but many games I could play co-op. So we indulged in some Resistance 3 and some Rayman Origins, and they're fun. Resistance 3 is just a shooter for anybody who hasn't played it. It's kind of like, it's kind of got a Half-Life vibe to it. with aliens invading the Earth and whatnot. It's really like nothing new or original or special. It's just kind of fun.
The thing about that one is that it's got like a really crazy variety of guns, right? All the weapons and stuff, and each weapon has like a different mode and things like that.
There's I don't know if this is unique to the game because I played a lot of shooters, but I haven't played a lot of varieties of shooters, I guess. They each weapon has the regular fire, and then there's a secondary fire. Like one will shoot a shield.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
One will shoot a targeting system. I can't speak.
So it's kind of like Unreal Tournament, I think. That's like a good comparison. It's like Unreal Tournament.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. It was good fun, but Rayman, I forgot how much fun Rayman was.
Man,
I never played
Rayman
that.
Origins is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize how fun it was on co-op. I thought it would be kind of like New Super Mario Brothers, where you're kind of competing against each other, and I always get frustrated when I play with somebody else, and they'll get really far ahead and make me die. But either my friend was really nice and didn't do that to me, or it wasn't possible to get so far ahead of me that it just screwed me over.
I don't think so, because Rayman Origins, it's like this kind of mix between Sonic and Donkey Kong that everything just flows so smoothly that you can't really get
I was
that
surprised.
much behind.
I was surprised how well it flowed.
I don't know what that word is. I'm the French one, remember?
Is that the one with the Viking lady? Like it's got a Viking.
Yeah, kind of.
No, that's Legends. I think.
That's Legends.
There might be. I think there might be a Viking one. I don't know.
I think it's the only one I played.
Yeah, the newest one includes all the levels from Origins as unlockables. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! And it's the newest one that has the music stages. Too.
Yep.
Those are great.
Yes, those are
I have the demo of that
those
one
really
too.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, in the original,
the
music stages are probably replaced with the treasure chase stages. I don't know if you've done a couple of these. Like you chase after a living treasure chest.
In Origins?
Yeah.
It's been so long, I don't think we got that far this weekend, so
okay.
I don't know if I've actually played those parts.
Because those are probably some of my favorite stages in the platformer history, I guess.
But we went from playing that to playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I thought the games were more similar than they are, but I kept trying to punch people as Donkey Kong, and you can't punch in Donkey Kong. You have to you have to jump on people's heads or throw a barrel.
Really? Even in the new one? Even after... I would think that after Donkey Kong being in Smash Brothers, they would have given him the ability to punch in newer Donkey Kong games.
You can slap the ground, you can throw a barrel, and you can jump on people's heads, but you can't punch anybody. So, yeah, good times, good games I haven't played for a while. So, Pam, part of the reason we asked you on the show was to ask you questions so that you might be able to win a copy of a Steam game.
Oh.
And you're familiar with the show, so you kind of know how things go down. So, John, I think you have the first quiz.
I have the first quiz?
Yeah.
I have the first quiz, which is called It Can Be Tamed.
Oh.
So your website being Cannot Be Tamed. Tame was in there. Pets, stuff, questions remain about that. So we're going to talk about pets.
All right. Basically.
So the questions are you either have to guess the game or guess the pet in question.
Okay.
Depending on a question, they're short questions, so you'll be fine. So, question number 1. When you wake up in a dungeon of a castle, you take all the help you can get. The girl from this survival horror game just let the white shepherd lead the way.
The girl from Haunting Ground, whose name I don't know because I haven't played that yet.
No, but it's Haunting Ground. John. You played Rule of Rose recently, I think, right?
Yeah, I played Rule of Rose, and I've got Haunting Ground. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, because I think the first time I rolled the question was exactly the same one, but with the dog from from Rule of Rose, and then I realized you played it recently. And that's a bit too easy. So good, 1 for 1. Question number 2. In this PS2 RPG, your first party member is actually your cat called Xiao, turned human. What? Good thing I prefer the sequel.
Huh. PS2. What's his name?
Xiao, and it's her name.
Oh, her name.
Xiao.
Yeah.
Xiao.
Is that how
Zhao.
to pronounce it? I have no
might be
Japanese pronunciation.
Zhao?
No,
Zhao.
that's Chinese, right?
Xiao.
That's Chinese.
Zhao.
That's Chinese.
I don't know this one, I don't think. I feel like I should know it. No, I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
It's Dark Cloud.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Dark Cloud, John.
It's Dark
Can't
Cloud. No,
go
it's
5 episodes.
It's the first one.
Yeah, I've never played that one.
Yeah, I kind of got the cat at one point and kind of gave up because my cat was my partner. So, anyways. Freaky. Question number 3. What?
Freaky.
Freaky. Chocobos are some of the most renowned steeds in video game, but one in particular seems to be somewhat of a recurring character. What's the name of Wheatgrass's steed, Bart's partner, and the Chocobo Forest Chocobo of choice?
I don't think I know any Chocobo names. No. Oh, I'm doing so bad. No, I don't know.
Okay. Which games have you played? Final Fantasy?
7 through... well, not really 13. Oh.
Okay. I don't think it's in there. Is it in there? The name? No, I think the name I'm thinking of is in, like a minigame in Final Fantasy VIII. So you might not know it. If you haven't played these games.
No. I don't know it.
It's Boko.
Boko.
Boko the Chocobo.
That does sound familiar. Yeah.
Well, Pam, you have 2 more quizzes to try to win a
2 more
Steam
quizzes.
game.
All right.
But
Yeah, those aren't
We
the
still-
only question we wanted to
That's
ask.
good.
Anyways,
Those ones
right.
are tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those.
yeah, I didn't kind of fast, so.
as
John's taking off the training wheels.
As is tradition, we are going to grill our guest with many personal questions about her life. AKA, we're just going to interview you for a little bit.
All right.
So, Chris, you had a question, didn't you?
I can. Yeah, I actually had a couple. Just to get to know you. So Pam, you have a very great, informative, entertaining YouTube channel. You've got a pretty kick-ass website. Your presence on Twitter. You're just an all-around swell person. And so, how did you get started? What is your background as far as, like, what was your first console, the first game that you really just fell in love with? What kind of made you want to, stick with this as your main hobby?
I've been playing games basically since I can remember. My first console was the NES, and I'm pretty sure the first game on it was just that Mario Duck Hunt combo cart that came with the console. But even before that, I was playing games on computer of some kind. Don't ask me what kind of computer it was. So basically, the NES was my big console for a while. I actually totally skipped the next generation other than playing at friends' house and things, but I never had a Super Nintendo or a Genesis. And then I sort of went into PC gaming more, and then once the PlayStation 1 came out, I got most consoles that came out after that, so it's just been something that's sort of always been there. I've always been big on gaming. In elementary school, friends would come over and would be like, let's go ride bikes, and I'd be like, nah, I'm just gonna play this game.
So you skipped the entire generation. Did you go back to it afterwards?
I've been going back to it now, but I hadn't played a whole lot of the 16-bit stuff
Okay.
before now.
That's good, because I saw a couple of videos on a couple of, I guess there were bigger names Genesis games. I can't remember which one. I think Gunstar Heroes was the one I saw.
Yeah.
And Kid Chameleon.
And Kid Chameleon.
Kid Chameleon. Kid Chameleon.
I've been called a lot of names over my Kid Chameleon review.
Oh,
That much?
Yeah. It wasn't even a terrible review. It was just, mediocre, and people got real mad that I didn't like it.
No. When you call a great game mediocre, people get. I feel like people get give worse reactions than when you call it just outright bad, because if you call it just completely bad, they just ignore you and move on to something else. But mediocre rings some kind of bell that just there's a chance I can defend this game.
They can shame you into believing them. And plus, it's the YouTube comment section, right? And so, grain of salt, that's probably one of the worst places. It can be a great place. There's a lot of positivity there, but there's also a lot of toxicity in the YouTube comment section. So you have to take all that with a grain of salt.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
so I'm trying to think how to word my question so as to not come across as just some ignorant fool. But it seems like I think we're all around the same age. It seems like when we were kids, it wasn't a big deal for girls to be into video games, and now it's quote unquote controversial or whatever. But I think it's cool when I meet a girl who plays video games, because I don't know why do you think it was not such a big deal when we were kids, and why do some people have such a big why is it a big deal now for some people that members of the opposite sex play video games? Is that a loaded question?
A little bit of a loaded question. I don't know,
because it's not a big deal to me.
Exactly. I'm just happy to meet anyone who plays video games.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think when we were kids, it wasn't such a big deal because there was no internet to tell us otherwise.
Right.
That's true.
I think that could definitely be part of it. I feel like now it's sort of turning back around, but there was, I don't know what it is, because I get comments from being like, wow, a girl who plays video games. I'm like, really? Like, do you live under a rock? Like, am I really the first one you've seen? So I'm not sure what it is that made it such a big deal now, just other than the internet and people being able to either tell stories about how they've been treated as a girl who plays video games, or people are or seeing more people who I guess who maybe they don't hang out with a lot of girls are now meeting girls who play video games. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure, because it always struck me as a hobby for anyone, and I personally have never felt unwelcome in the hobby, or like it wasn't meant for me. I've always been far too narcissistic to think that anything isn't for me. So yeah, but I don't know. I think the internet is a big part of it.
I think that a small subset of maledom has gotten the idea that video games are quote unquote our thing, and that by allowing others to play, that it's being taken away. But it was never just their thing. It was, it was everybody's from the beginning.
And they sort of have a very narrow definition of what gaming is, or what a gamer is. So people who play games that they think fall outside of that, or people that they think fall outside of that, are, invading.
But I'll be the first to admit, when growing up until I was, always anyways, around in my environment, it was more of a male hobby, I guess. It might be a sociological thing around Quebec, but because we do have that reputation in the rest of Canada, I think, of being somewhat close-minded sometimes. So, to be honest, I hang out with a lot of people, and it was kind of a new thing when I did talk about and move around the internet a bit, but I mean, it's not that special. It's not that different. It's a hobby for everyone, despite what marketing in the last couple of years. So
I think it's not that video games are for men only. It's that when we were younger, and still now, the types of games that are being made may appeal to guys more than women, and some of them may not. I mean, there's plenty of women that love to go and play Call of Duty. That's totally common. But it's just the types of stories that are being, made. So every type of story is going to appeal to somebody else, and I think early on in gaming, there wasn't as much diversity in the type of storytelling, and so you're not going to capture the wide audience of people that may be interested in a particular medium like video games. So that's why maybe people are a little weirded out now, is that the medium has more diversity in the types of stories that are being told, and so of course you're going to get more varied types of people that want to experience those stories. So that's why you see everybody playing games now. It's not just guys, 18 to 35. It's, everybody, men, women, young, old, everybody is, just because they all want to experience those stories, just like they all want to go and see different movies and watch different TV shows.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big part of it as well. I know a lot of the games, growing up with Nintendo, 90%, maybe more, you were playing a male character. I think of all the games that I've reviewed in the past little while, like, I don't know, a quarter, a third, you're saving a girl. So yeah, there was a certain type of story that was told, and now it's just so much more diverse, and you get more different protagonists and just different experiences overall.
Right, for sure.
And if you want to have a list of female protagonists in video games, you can go to cannotbeteam.com, where there's a handy Google Docs. Yeah. So when did
plug.
When did you start your YouTube channel? What motivated it?
I started it about a year ago. Initially, I was doing a couple playthroughs of games, which is not my forte. I don't stream or anything because I'm just not entertaining or chatty enough to keep someone entertained for like 3 hours of me playing a game. But eventually, I think my first sort of what I consider my first real video was sort of in the feminism vein. I wanted to talk about some sort of feminist topics, and then I got into the retro stuff. I've got a big collection of retro games, and I thought a good way to be more familiar with it was to just play them all. I started off replaying old favorites from childhood, and then moved into playing the games I hadn't played before, just, get more knowledge and more experience with especially like the Genesis and Super Nintendo stuff that I hadn't played. Yeah, and part of it is also just that my blog had sort of been declining in views over time, and everyone seemed to be making videos. That seems to where things are at, so
that strikes a chord.
Yeah,
because you the blog started as a WoW blog, right?
Yeah, it started as World of Warcraft, so
which you don't play anymore, from what I understand.
No, I've been clean for a year and a half, I think.
So okay. So to take that, is that to make it dark for a second? So you say you've been clean for however long. Is that just a 100% pure joke? Or is there anything behind that? Because I know my own personal experiences with WoW. I mean, I went to a bad place where I would miss days of school and stuff like that, years ago. So did you have any of those experiences?
Sort of. It was, there was two sort of downsides to WoW. The upside is that I have actually made a lot of friends, like even friends, real life friends who live in the area and stuff. So it was good for that, but it was also just such a huge time sink. At one point, I was raiding with 2 different guilds for a total of 5 or 6 days a week for a few hours a day. At one point, I was raiding with a guild that was half North America and half from Australia. So we raided Friday and Saturday nights. So I basically just stayed home and played video games every weekend rather than, do things outside of my house.
So it's like a part-time job at that point.
It was like a part-time job, and when I finished playing, I was the GM of my guild, so there was a whole ton of work to do with that, and it was just, so part of it was just the sort of job-like thing, and how much of my, like, you can do a /play to see how many hours you've played, and it was just like a scary amount of time to see how much of your life you've devoted to this. And then from a not quite as dark point of view, it just meant that I wasn't playing other games. Like, I love video games. I don't want to just play one. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I get the feeling.
Cool.
Huh.
So I've seen in your videos, like, your game collection. How many games do you have in your collection? If you don't know, maybe how many exactly can you estimate?
Around 750, I think.
750? That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's not totally me. I'm actually not that much of a collector. My boyfriend is a collector. Like, he's going for a full Saturn set and things like that. If we're up to me, I'd have maybe 200 games that I actually want to play. We've got a lot of crap. You get a lot of crap when you go for full sets, so.
But you've got it organized so nicely. I was actually going to make a similar comment, is that every video that I've watched, you've got this really nice bookshelf all organized really well, and it's like, man, that would be nice to have someday.
Yeah, that's actually him as well. He reorganizes the games, like, on a weekly basis. Although I alphabetize them because it drives me crazy when things are out of alphabetical order. So
that's a good system, because back in when my girlfriend was collecting movies, she classified them by color.
Oh,
so it looks nicer on the shelf by box color.
What?
Wow.
So when she asked for a
utility.
movie, I just, what's the color of that movie? I think it's.
Let's watch an orange movie tonight.
I think that one's pink, and like black pink or blue.
No
pink.
idea what it is.
Yeah,
Citizen Kane, Legally Blonde. Who knows?
exactly.
I think if my eye on the clock is accurate, we're gonna have to move into our second quiz. So, are you guys ready? Are you ready, Pam? I don't care about you two.
I'm ready.
Chris and John.
I'm gonna do better this
I'll
time.
just go then. Good luck.
Fine. See you later.
No, don't leave.
Okay.
So I don't know how many people in the internet land know that you like cooking and food and that stuff, or have a food blog, but we do. We know that you do. So the second.
Wait.
Done your research.
First of all, I'm gonna try the potato salad recipe.
Oh, yeah?
It looks fantastic. And I'm a big
Excellent.
potato salad fan, and it looks really
So
different.
the second quiz is called Playing with Your Food, and this is about food in video games.
All right.
Take 1 cup white sugar, half cup butter, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 3/4 teaspoons baking powder, half cup milk, and a pinch of evil. And you have one tasty, if slightly misnamed, and scary dessert boss in Super Mario RPG.
Oh, I've never played Super Mario RPG. I don't know what it's called.
You don't have to know his.
No.
You could just.
Well, it sounds like
you
a
could
cake
just say
of
the
some
object.
kind.
That's it.
A cake?
It's a cake. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
the evil cake monster.
I wouldn't have expected you to know his name, because I didn't know his
okay.
name, and that's one of my favorite games.
What is his name?
Bunt.
Bunt.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
the cake
Bundt
from
cake.
Chef Dort,
Yep. The fake Frenchman.
the fake
So-
Frenchman.
Yeah. Question 2. There's no special sauce, but take 2 all-beef patties, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, put them on a sesame seed bun, and you have the food item for this classic Data East arcade game. I didn't include the name of the
Burger?
game because... Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you know the name of the
Yay.
game?
Burger
Just
time?
for... Yeah.
Woo! Burger time.
Okay, preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 163 degrees Celsius. Chop up some veggies, place them in this bird's cavity. Said bird can be found in Castlevania and Shovel Knight.
Turkey?
Yep.
Woo!
Turkey usually cook at 350 though, Alex.
This is the easy turkey recipe I found online, okay? Jeez.
No, it's 350, right? Isn't it 350?
And then you put it inside the wall.
Yeah, you gotta put it inside the wall.
And then you whip the wall, and then turkey falls out.
That's how it works.
So, you've reclaimed your honor, Pam. You won.
Excellent.
Is that 3 for 3?
That's 3 for 3. She got them all.
Wow.
I can identify food.
Oi.
Okay, it's time for a music break. See you in a few minutes. Was Disco Descent, which is a remix of from the Crypt of the Necromancer soundtrack by Danny Baranowski. What are you shaking your head for, Chris?
Is this not a remix? It's just the song.
Okay, it's not a remix. That was
There
Disco
is a
Descent.
remix album, though. It's really good.
That was Disco Descent, which is not a remix from the Crypt of the Necrodancer soundtrack by Danny Baranowski. Well, Danny Baranowski's a remixer, so I figured, it's probably a remix.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Now that we're back in action, we are going to move into our Block 3, which, again, this time is Pixel Pontification, where we ponder on a question from the gaming sphere and talk about it ad nauseum. So this time our question is, were games really better, quote, back then? There's a general vibe I see on the internet from retro gamers that say if only games were as good as they were back in, 1992 or 1982, then things would be much better, and gaming nowadays sucks. So
You hang out with the wrong people.
I didn't say they were my friends. I just kind of see those retweets and that vibe from people in the community. So was gaming really better back then, or why not?
I'll start. Okay. So, were games better back then? In quotes. No. They weren't. The games weren't better. I think that the level of depth and writing and story and everything that can go into a modern game, has the potential to surpass anything that was even conceived of back when gaming was kind of still in its infancy. You can have games now that are on par with like big budget Hollywood blockbuster, romance. You can have a game that fits any single mood and genre. Whereas back then they were pretty much linear. They were very similar experiences. I think that the games weren't better back then. I think they're better now, personally, but I do think that there are things that can be learned from games back then, and it ends up being the like with EA or with any of these companies that are releasing annual titles, the NFL 15, 16, 17, whatever, and then all the Assassin's Creeds and Call of Duties. Once they adopt this model of releasing a game every single year without kind of putting the thought behind what they're actually making, that's when you fall into a trap. So I think back then they released a game when it was ready. They didn't release a game and then rely on patching it 100 times over the next few months. They released a product when they were done with it. And I think that a lot could be, learned and accomplished if some of our big developers could go back to that same mindset.
Yeah, but they didn't have a choice, though. I mean, the bad quote-unquote habit comes because you have the choice to patch it afterwards.
Yeah, and I guess we let them get away with that. I mean, as consumers, we still, throw our $60 at these companies that have continuously put out these, subpar games on day one. Launch day has not been ideal, and then we allow them to distribute patches later that improve the experience. So, I mean, it's kind of our own fault, I guess.
Yeah, but day one didn't exist back then. Like
I've got a tangential quote or question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Were there any games released for older consoles, like before the advent of the internet, that they released a game and the developer decided, or it was found out that it was broken or bad or something, and then 6 months later they said, okay, here's version 1.5.
Yeah, a couple of games. Ocarina of Time had a couple of versions.
That's true. Huh. Yeah.
They had a couple versions. One was because they had like was it some kind of tribe song for the Fire Palace?
Islam chant and a symbol.
Yeah, something like that. So I know that was done. Most games have like versions also, even hardware. Talk to some retro gamers out there that look way too much into stuff, and they'll tell you that the first Game Boy Advance SP is not the one you should have, which is probably the one I have. You need to get that second series of actual console that add front lighting instead of backlight lighting and stuff like that. So, and when you release something that doesn't work, like the Virtual Boy, it just doesn't work. And same thing was for games. Like, there are a couple of games that are just stupidly broken that they could have fixed.
E.T.
Yeah?
It's in a landfill.
I guess so. Like, it's not the first time that, patches existed, like, in old PC gaming, right?
Yeah, I purposely said console gaming because I know patches have been around for a long time in PC gaming.
So what about you, Pam? What do you think? So, compare old games and, the quality versus modern gaming. Were they better back then, or are they better now, or is it too vague a question, do you think?
I don't think that they were necessarily better back then. I sort of agree with all the points about how writing and story and sort of diversity of genre and everything has gotten better than it was before. I think one of the things that people call on a lot when they say that it was better back then was that games were more challenging and harder to get into. Like, I find games are friendlier. They've got tutorials, they've got different difficulty levels. There's very few games now that I play that I can't beat. Like, I never get so stuck that I can't progress, whereas that could happen a lot. Like, there's a lot of NES games that I would never beat in a million years without save states and things like that. So I think that games have gotten more accessible to people, which I think some feel is a bad thing. Like, gaming was more challenging and more hardcore back then, so that meant it was better. But I also think that that's viewing them through sort of rose-tinted nostalgia glasses as well. So
yeah, and the whole difficulty thing, that's basically the only reason achievements exist. You need, like, and even in older games, you need to, if you want challenge, the best challenge you can get is challenge yourself within the game. And I mean, even harder games that speed runs, even it's all up to you. Like, you make an effort, not only developers and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not too fond of the games were better back then argument, to be honest. So I mean, different games, different times, I guess.
I personally, I lean on the retro spectrum side of the spectrum in my preferences, but I think it's better to be a gamer now than it ever has been, because of the sheer access we have to all of the past generations. Like, you can buy used games for the most part cheaper than you ever could buy them new. There's so many re-releases, remasters, reproduction.
Yeah. And even 10 years from now, like, you're going to be able to go back to everything that was 360 and PS3 and stuff like that. Fairly cheaply, and you cherry pick the games I mean, just playing Mass Effect, which was released like 10 years ago, I think.
Not even, but just about.
It's not retro, but it's kind of blowing my mind right now, so.
Mm-hmm. So I as far as development goes, I think I like the indie side of things in modern gaming, just because it's got all the qualities of the old while, pushing things forward with the new. Like, it's innovating, but it's also like that Wild West frontier spirit of, it's not, bound by, we got to sell 3 million copies of Madden to break even or whatever. There's like, we want to do something new and different, and we think this is going to do well with gamers who want something different, or want something that's not just another generic first-person shooter.
But some indie games, I admit that, like, the for most of the indie games I played, there's always something I feel is not lacking, but they never feel, in the terms of scale, epic, I guess. They're never, and I know that's not the point, but like, some people who tend towards more indie games and less modern gamings for the all the Call of Duties and everything. I mean, both need to exist, in my opinion. You can't just go full indie and full large scale development.
It seems like all the experimental AAA studio titles get either not much press or just kind of getting forgotten about.
Well, not all of them. Like, you're for every 5 Call of Duties you're gonna get one Tomb Raider and one Last of Us, and games are not
That's true.
the most original, but kind of that feel more like a fleshed out large adventure.
But you need both, I guess, right? Like, you can't have really artistic Wes Anderson movies if you don't have those crazy over the top Michael Bay Transformer movies, I guess.
That's an awful comparison.
That's the balance of the universe right there.
I think it's good now because we have everything. We can play basically whatever we want. I don't see a need to sort of pit the new games and the old games against each other. Just, play all the games. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
That's kind of like the secret behind our podcast. We're revealing our secrets now. We never we didn't make the distinction to just go full on retro because all of us have, if not the most modern, then pretty modern games. Or gaming systems we can play on our PCs, the newest titles, and like John's playing Mass Effect. That would never have been allowed on a retro gaming podcast. And
No, we just don't have the budget for a PS4.
Right.
Like, do you have one, Pam? Do you have what modern console do you have?
All of them.
All of them?
She's got 750 games. What do you think?
She's already talked about playing a PS4 game, John, on this podcast.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I have 560 and I don't have modern gaming consoles because I have a lot of crap, so...
You have 560? I've got
something
like
that,
20.
yeah.
I thought you meant an Xbox 560 and I was really confused.
No.
I actually thought he meant he had 5 360s for a second.
No, I just have a ton of crap. Especially for the NES because, that's another thing that people forget. There was a ton of shovelware for the NES, for the Super NES, for the Genesis, and for some reason we forget about it. Of course, the Wii was like probably one of the most shovelware-filled consoles.
Oh yeah,
but
I think that the gems that we remember, like we remember them for a reason, and we think, okay, the NES had like so many great games that we just think of like the same 10: Mega Man, DuckTales, Super Mario Brothers, etc., and forget about the other 500 viable adventures and unreleased Garfield the Cat for the Famicom type games. So
Excitebike was one of my biggest memories as a NES game, but it's really, really not that
Bad.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing
I have
for Ice
such fond
Climbers.
memories of that game, but it's just not that great going back to
I used
it.
to make a track with my name because all the letters corresponded to some kind of shape, and it was the most boring track ever.
Now, there are some examples where games were really better back then, and this is totally my opinion and may not be shared by anyone else, but certain games like Kirby did much better, in my opinion, and hopefully others, as 2D platformers, and when it made the jump to 3D platformers for like the 64 and stuff, I just...
it's still a
I didn't care for
side-scrolling
it as
game.
much.
Still,
I mean, it was different to me. It did not have the same feel that the 2D NES stuff did. Like, my wife loves Kirby on the 64, and I just can't stand it. I like the original.
Yeah, but it's not really 3D on 64, right?
That's what I said.
Okay, sorry.
No, it is. Well, more. I mean, it's 3D. It's still 2D stuff, but it's not.
I get
it
what
doesn't
you
look the same.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and also with some RPGs. Like, if you take an RPG that used to be, say like an isometric RPG or something, and then you turn it into a big open world mess. I think the older ones were better.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Fallout right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I knew you were.
Or even, yeah, well, I guess that's a thing. That's just my own hang-up about open worlds, but even Witcher, which isn't even retro, but from its beginnings to now, I'm not a fan.
And even like Diablo. Like, I tried a bit of Diablo 3, and all it made me was want to play Diablo 2 again, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is like one of my favorite games.
Go play Torchlight. But, yeah. I kind of stopped playing that. I kind of forgot about it. Huh.
So do you
Totally
guys mind if I
forgot
shoehorn in a side question here?
Go ahead.
I saw on Twitter somebody asked you to talk about Felix the Cat, Pam. So would you like to talk about Felix the Cat for a minute?
Sure. I think Felix the Cat is one of the best NES platformers with one of the most catchy soundtracks. It's just one of the games I had when I was a kid that I played over and over and over. I rented it from the store like every weekend. So, one I always had good memories of. And I think it was actually when I started doing retro reviews, it was the very first game I reviewed because it had such good memories of it. And I still find it holds up pretty well. It's kind of easy, but that's that's not a bad thing because I get frustrated really quickly.
Old 2D platformers, when they're mechanically good, they stay good all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Like, even I didn't try Felix the Cat, but it reminds me of Bugs Bunny game on the NES that runs on
Crazy
the
Castle?
No, not that one. The
Birthday Blowout?
the Tiny Toons one.
That's not Bugs Bunny.
Oh.
That
Yeah, Tiny Toons is good.
Tiny Toons Adventure.
I like that one.
That runs on the Mario 3 engine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like older licensed games were better. I'll give them that.
I like how we're kind
That's
of
because they don't
negating
really
our...
do licensed games now.
There are a couple.
Don't they, though?
Yeah.
Not on the same scale. Not by any means.
I mean, I've got a Inside Out game on my iPad. I've talked about that before.
I've got Ratatouille on. What's the English pronunciation of that? Go ahead.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Okay. Okay, it's good. I have a hard time with French words in English. So on the Wii,
I thought you were gonna ask what the French pronunciation or the English pronunciation of Wii was, and I was gonna be really confused.
don't worry, but they still do like licensed game, but it's all the same thing, like minigame collection or 3D platformer collectathon stuff. So
yeah,
and they've still got like Transformers games and Spider-Man and Iron Man and.
So where was the Star Wars game? Why was there no Star Wars game?
Star Wars
Seems like they missed out. No,
There was Battlefront.
There was no
was
Star
huge.
Wars Episode 7, the game.
Yeah, but they had Star Wars Battlefront, and then they released exclusive The Force Awakens content for it. I think that was a great idea because they didn't do a completely licensed game that was probably not going to do as well. They released a well-known franchise, Battlefront.
But if they don't have a complete licensed game, then they don't have a whole crappy game we can talk about in its mediocrity.
Just play the Kinect one and you'll know.
That was such a letdown. Gosh. You know, I had pre-ordered that game. I have never pre-ordered a game in my entire life. And I pre-ordered Star Wars Kinect because I wanted to play with a lightsaber. And all it was Boba Fett and Lando Calrissian dancing. It was terrible.
Didn't you cancel your pre-order for Battlefront, though?
No, I didn't have it. That was Wally. I didn't have a pre-order for Battlefront. I was considering buying it. I played the beta, but I didn't have a pre-order.
Get you guys mixed up, sorry.
We're so similar.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Anyways.
Dancing games are better nowadays than on the DDR mat.
Oh
That's
man,
why I don't know.
I love me some Disney Mix on PS1.
Come on. Just Dance is amazing.
Just Dance is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it is good. You know, it's really well done, but I mean DDR is a different kind of dancing game.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily dancing, it's just moving your feet as fast as you can.
Yeah, but
because you're
DDR won't let me see my brother-in-law dance to Call Me Baby while
that's true.
intoxicated and being really too much into it. So
Oh, for sure.
But where else can you hear a house mixed version of Chimchurri from Mary Poppins except for DDR Disney Mix?
I need to find the Mario DDR.
Mario Mix on GameCube, it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Music is really good, actually.
It's always good.
Alright,
Yep.
if you guys don't have any, or if you want to wrap up the conversation, we're going to have to move to block 3.75.
Everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody's wrong.
Okay, the next
Games are
quiz.
games. They've always been great. Some are better than others.
Grow up,
Nothing
people.
was better back then than it is now.
If you think that, you're a poop face.
All right.
Is that a good enough conclusion, Alex?
That's fine. Go ahead with the quiz.
Okay, so I'm reading the third quiz, and I'm full disclosure. John wrote this quiz, and so he didn't put the answers to the questions. So I'm going to read these questions, but I don't know the answers myself.
You know some of the answers, right?
I might know some of them, so feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong, John. So, all right, so this one, 3.75, or block 3.75, because of your feminist roots in your blog and on your YouTube channel, and you have your list of the female protagonists. We have a collection of what we feel are some of the coolest female protagonists. So I have a couple questions,
All right.
and let's do this.
Let's do this, yeah.
Okay, so this re-release of a PS2 niche action RPG did what Ubisoft never could: add a complete campaign for a female protagonist. In my, aka John's, personal opinion, they managed to make a much more interesting campaign. Thanks, Atlas.
Atlas. PS2 action RPG. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Neither am I.
None of the answers were in your list. To be
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'll have to add it to my list, I guess.
When you play it, I guess.
Dark Cloud.
When in doubt, go with Dark Cloud for John.
I thought about it, but no, it's Persona 3.
I have Persona 4. I haven't played 3.
All right. So the second one, I actually kind of know who this is talking about, but I still don't know the name. So, it was time for the Blue Bomber to take a break. In this PlayStation adventure, this air pirate takes the reins. Her name may sound like a musical instrument, but she's the one who orchestrates the operations.
Blue Bomber's Mega Man, right?
Yes. I think she's in Marvel vs. Capcom. The second one.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
I think you're right. People made such a mess when that game was released, and I honestly didn't know anything about it.
Oh, so good.
I don't know this one either. Fun.
Exactly.
Oh! Yay!
I don't know this. This is the answer.
I have no idea. Exactly.
The Misadventures of Trombone.
Trombone. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Is her name really Trombone?
Tron.
That's her name.
Oh. Because I only know her from Marvel vs. Capcom. I've never played her in a Mega Man game. So I only knew her name was, I thought it was Tron. So I was thinking, like, what on earth is a musical instrument that sounds like Tron?
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
okay.
So you're the one who doesn't like Mega Man Legends, Chris. So maybe.
Right. Is that the one she's in? I don't know.
No,
Yes.
she's
in
in
Marvel
the
vs.
Mega
Capcom.
Man Legends series. I honestly never played
okay.
it, and I have no intention.
She has that giant robot that she's, like, inside of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, cool. Alright, so Pam, last question. In the second installment of the series, she was just the sidekick, but in the third, she was the leader. Of course, she got stuck babysitting her own sidekick, but that didn't stop her from kicking Crocodile ass.
Crocodile ass.
That's your clue, Crocodile ass.
Crocodile ass. It doesn't say a console in that question, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It
It
does
doesn't
not.
say the Super NES. No.
I think I really don't know this one, since I don't know much Super and Nintendo.
Yeah, I didn't know that before running questions. So
Who is it?
sorry about that. It's Dixie.
That's okay.
Is it Donkey Kong?
Dixie Kong.
Dixie
Oh.
Oh.
I don't think I would have gotten that.
Crocodile ass, okay.
Well, Pam, you've won one game.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Thank you. Those are hard.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those were harder than normal.
yeah, but we did say we were trying to get harder than normal. Like
That's good, yeah,
a
no,
couple
that's
of
awesome.
episodes ago. Sorry, you're the first one to be victim to the. We're trying kind of harder questions. So
No worries.
yeah.
So we're going to have to wrap things up, which brings us to block 4, which is our shoutouts / project highlights / spotlight on whatever you want to for a few minutes section, starting with Pam. Do you have any shoutouts, etc.? Any projects you're working on you want to talk about?
Any projects? Just the regular stuff. My blog is cannotbetamed.com, even though I don't write a whole lot there right now. And then my YouTube channel is also Cannot Be Tamed. I should have some more retro reviews coming up. I've been promising a collection video for many months and putting it off because I find collection videos boring and I don't want to film it. But one day I'll have a collection video up there. Yeah, that's about it.
Will you unbox stuff or also?
No, I also
because that's
find
really
unboxing
exciting.
And your Twitter handle one more time for the listeners.
It's Jasyla_, JASYLA_.
John, tell us about your Mass Effect essay you're writing.
I don't know if I'm gonna write it, to be honest. So don't get your hopes up. But I really do want to play a bit more Mass Effect, and you should hear about some kind of blog about Shepard to be becoming easily one of my favorite characters in the video games that I played, especially modern video games. So check that out. Follow me on Twitter at BigJonathan91 for random stuff, butting into other people's conversation, overselling Dark Cloud 2, and taking snapshots of Hearthstone when people frustrate me. So
Chris?
So this past week, actually, my uncle brought over his laptop for me to fix because that's just my job for the entire family. But as payment, he also brought me over an Atari 2600 and like a dozen carts and some joysticks, and it's totally cool.
Did you get any Activision games?
I did. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm going with this. So,
sorry,
I got Barnstorming, which is actually a really good 2600 Activision game. But because I now have a means to play a real Activision game, I have ordered myself the Activision Barnstorming patch off of eBay. They have some repro patches because, of course, back in the 70s and 80s, if you got certain scores in these Activision games and sent a Polaroid to Activision with your high score, they would send you patches that you could iron on to clothes or backpacks or whatever. So I am going to start trying to attain those high scores and then reward myself by giving myself these badass patches, and I'm going to put them on a backpack or a jacket or something, and I'm going to wear it around like a total nerd. So the first one will be Barnstorming. The patch is on its way, and I will try to get that high score and take a Polaroid and document that whole thing here in the near future.
You carry a backpack?
Every single day. I really do. I have it's like a super fancy backpack for my freaking expensive work laptop.
Yeah.
Do you carry a briefcase like an old man?
Yeah.
Are you an old man?
People in America carry backpacks, John.
I have an
Back
alcohol
off.
flask. I'm an old man, you know that. I play cribbage.
Yeah,
okay.
Get off his lawn, Chris.
We have backpacks.
Hey, get
I
off
have a
my lawn.
backpack, I guess.
I have a backpack, Chris. We're in the backpack club.
I have an N7 messenger bag for my laptop.
See, that's cool too. Way better than a briefcase.
No, I have a messenger bag, yeah.
Well, Pam can be in the club too. We just gotta leave John out.
I
John.
actually have a messenger bag that smells like cat
Nah,
pee,
it's too
so-
late. Go play cribbage.
Oh, and you're Chris A. Swartz on Twitter, correct?
And yes, on Twitter I am at Chris A. Swartz. You can follow me if you want. I'm kind of there, I guess. So that's fun. What about you, Alex? Projects?
I have embarked on the streaming project, aka streaming once in a while. I announced it last time. I think John and I both did, and we've both since streamed once. At least once. I know John's done it once. At least I've done it once. I streamed some Donkey Kong Country 2 a little over a week and a half ago, and I had a ton of fun until the stream kind of crapped out, and I had maybe 3 or 4 people watching, and it was just kind of fun to feed off the energy of having a live audience and interacting with them, and also playing a game I'm really familiar with. So I'm definitely going to do that again in the future.
Playing a
Just
game
pay
you're
attention.
familiar with, so I'm going to do that next time.
Yeah, what did you stream, John?
I sucked at Rystar. I really sucked. Like, bad. I had such a hard time for no reason. Anyways.
So just pay attention to my Twitter handle at Chronoslinger, or my YouTube channel, which is the same as my Twitter handle. I'll be streaming from there and not from the Rocket Pants Twitch account. Because I'm a rebel. Other than that, not much I have to shout out. If you want to email us at rocketpantspodcast@gmail.com. We are currently out of listener emails. Visit our website at rocket-pants.com. Follow us on Twitter at rocketpantscast. And subscribe to us on Stitcher/iTunes if you're not listening to us there. And until next time, this is Team Rocket Pants blasting off.
Since the splitting of the atom only a few decades ago, and through his God-given genius of science, man, at last, has succeeded in penetrating further and further into the unknown vastness of space.